I'm about to show you something we've been hoping to do from the very beginning. Many of you have asked for this as well. I'm proud to show you MercuryX. MercuryX, at its heart, takes Mercury 7 to all new heights, making this the most flexible and powerful studio reverb in a pedal format. Our love of sci-fi and pro audio informed every part of the design. MercuryX has 8 custom Meris reverbs and combines those with the easy-to-use, powerful, and intuitive LVX architecture, making this a modular reverb dream. Let's dive in. MercuryX's front panel controls are decay, predelay, mod, and mix. Changing these controls will bring up the tactile view to give you a quick look at how they are set. There are 3 push and turn encoders on the front panel, which give you instant access to your favorite parameters, navigation through the presets, and deep dive editing. I'll be referring to these controllers as C1, C2, and C3. Let's bring in Polymoon to give you a representation of the MercuryX's compact size. MercuryX is roughly 1.5 times the width of Polymoon and the same height and depth. We designed our entire line of instruments to complement each other and work together seamlessly. When MercuryX first powers up, you'll start on the preset page, which by default is set to the graphic view. Here you'll see a preset bubble that contains the name and number of the current preset. In this view, C1 and C2 control your 2 favorite parameters, which are currently set to low frequency and high frequency. Favorite parameters are assignable per preset and can be any edit parameter in MercuryX. Turning C3 will allow you to scroll through your presets, and holding C3 will allow you to save your preset. Let's scroll C3 to a blank preset so we can start making changes. From the preset page, pushing C3 will take you to the edit page. The edit page is where you select categories and change parameters within each preset. The middle bubble is your category. Turn C3 to cycle through the categories. The colored bubble in the top left is your selected parameter within each category. Turn C1 to rotate through the parameters, and turn C2 to edit the selected parameter. As we explore MercuryX's controls, we'll be listening to how different reverb structures compare. Let's use the controllers to change the reverb structure to Cathedra and take a listen. The processing elements are grouped into categories. Along with predelay and reverb, the categories are dynamics, preamp, filter, pitch, and modulation. It is important to point out that the modulation category is separate from the front panel mod knob. The processing elements can be placed in several locations both in front of and behind the predelay and reverb structure. Let's start by adding modulation to the preset we are working on. I'll scroll to the modulation category and pick the new vowel modulation to add a haunting vocal quality. I'll place it in the post location and turn the modulation speed to 0. Let's take a listen. MercuryX's modifiers allow automatic control of your knobs. Let's turn C3 to move over to the modifier section. There are LFOs, an envelope generator, a sample and hold, and a special hold modifier and a sequencer. For modifiers, you can set the speed, note division, assignment, and the min and max knob scale values. Let's check out the hold modifier. In MercuryX, the hold modifier has its own front panel switch which triggers an envelope whenever you press and hold the switch. The hold modifier can be assigned to any parameter, including tap tempo, and can function as either momentary or latching. Let's check out examples of each mode. Starting with momentary, I'll assign the hold modifier to control the stereo freeze element from the dynamics category. The freeze is new to MercuryX and lets you infinitely sustain your sound. I have the hold modifier set to freeze and the hold latch set to momentary. Next up, I'll select a preset with the latching action. Here, the hold modifier is assigned to tremolo mix in the modulate category. By using the hold modifier in latch mode, you can toggle the state of the parameters. This preset also features MercuryX's new spring reverb structure. Let's take a listen. Now, I'll select a preset with the hold modifier assigned to tap tempo. When set to tap, the hold modifier sets the tempo of the predelay. The reverb structure in this preset is Ultraplate from Mercury 7. Predelay is used to add a fixed amount of time between the start of your sound and when the reverb starts. In the studio, these times are usually under 50 milliseconds. In MercuryX, we've expanded the predelay to a full 2.5 second stereo delay, with note divisions, modulation, selectable types, cross feedback, damping, and half speed. I'll set the predelay to reverse and the left division to a half note triplet. In this preset, the reverb structure is set to the MercuryX's new Prism algorithm. Prism is a dual tank reverb with a wide-ranging control set that lets you design your own space. Each reverb structure has gate controls that can be used to dial in a range of gated reverb effects, including the classic percussive gate sound, reverse tail reverb sounds, and slow breathing textures. The gate parameters are gate attack, gate hold, and gate decay, and they let you fully control the gate's envelope. Here I'll be using the 78 room reverb structure. I'll be starting with the gate hold at maximum, and then slowly shorten the gate time. We have been editing MercuryX using the orbiting bubbles of the graphic view. But for those who prefer more traditional text-based editing, we have a selectable text view. Using C3 to page over to the globals, we can change from graphic view to text view. Let's take a quick spin through the edit pages in text view. Another feature of text view is that all 6 outer controllers, including the knobs, can be used to simultaneously edit all the parameters currently displayed on the screen. The expression pedal on MercuryX works the same way as the modifiers. Let's use C3 to navigate to the expression pedal section to get ready to make our first assignment. You get 6 in total. Here, I'll assign the expression pedal to control the mod depth of the new gravity reverb structure. Gravity breaks down and stretches your sound into individual grains and is great for pad-like textures. MercuryX has a full-featured tuner always available from the foot switches. To access the tuner, press and hold the 2 right switches. Here you can use C1 to choose the tuner frequency, and C2 to choose the tuner output mode, either mute or bypass. MercuryX allows banking right from the foot switches. Pressing the center switches gives you access to bank up, and pressing the 2 left switches gives you access to bank down. Holding the 2 left switches gives you access to the favorites bank. To save a preset, press and hold C3. This will bring up the Save As page, and you'll notice that the center sphere changes color. In this view, you'll be able to change the name of your preset, change the preset number to perform a copy, change the favorite status, and change the favorite parameters. Use C3 to select a field and C2 to change the value. For the naming field, pressing C1 adds a space, pressing C3 deletes characters, and pressing C2 jumps through the character list. Holding C1 erases the name completely. To cancel a save, press any of the 4 foot switches. MercuryX's back panel connections include stereo in and out jacks with selectable synth level, expression jack, full-size MIDI in jacks, and a USB jack for firmware updates only. That's an overview of all the views and functions of MercuryX. For a deep dive on the functions we covered, check out our online manual on the MercuryX product page.